Hello, people at home. So, this is today classes, October 31st, Halloween Day. Yay! Alright, so we started out with some review about sugar structure, so glucose, alpha glucose, beta glucose structure, how they form starch, glycogen, or cellulose. So, if you don't know that, just watch my previous video and you'll be fine. There is, once we finish lipids and glucose, there's a new chapter on protein. That's 2.4. It is on Firefly under my tab. Okay. So after we review, we did a quick quiz. So people at home, you really should click on sugar structure and try to see if you know how to do this. This is the answer. First one, the products of hydrolysis of lactose are hydrolysis. Hydro mean water, lysis mean breaking up, so hydrolysis is breaking the lactose in half. So if you break a lactose in half, what are you going to get? Simple, it will be a glucose and a galactose. Second part, what is the difference between alpha glucose and beta glucose? Orientation of hydroxyl group. If you don't know what's the difference between alpha glucose and beta glucose, again, you need to watch the carbohydrate, the sugar structure lecture. What's the difference between glucose and ribose? Glucose is a ring of 6 members and ribose is a 5-member ring. Starch is polymer made from alpha or beta glucose. 50-50 shot. Remember ASBC, so it's alpha glucose for starch. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, the reaction that occurs when a disaccharide is formed from 2 monosaccharide. This is asking the reaction. Pretty much doesn't matter if it's saccharides or it's protein. The answer is the same. It's a condensation reaction. The type of bond that form between disaccharides are glycosidic bond. Yeah, glycosidic bond. Glyco means sugar. Glyco means sugar. Last bit, what is the most important carbohydrate for you in human cell? And the answer is glucose.
Important as well.
Yeah, right. So the reason glucose is important because it's energy for your body. So glucose is being used as the main energy for your body. And your brain actually can only use glucose. It cannot use any other form of energy molecules. It can't use lipid. It can't use fructose. It can only use glucose.
So if we stop eating glucose, we die.
If you could die if your blood sugar is too low. So diabetic people, so because they can't storage glucose in the form of glycogen, they run out of glucose, and if their level is too low, they start to go into an epileptic shock. Like they start shaking, they start fatigue, and then they shock, and they could die from the lack of glucose. Carry on. Which 2 monosaccharides combine to form sucrose?
Glucose and fructose.
Glucose and fructose. So sucrose is a regular sugar that you eat. Saccharides contain the following combination element:
Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen.
Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. That's it. Easy as pie. All right. So a little bit. So I have just, if you go on to the main page, I have just uploaded this awesome resource. You can see it right here. Bio Ninja. Okay, minded that this resource is for the old syllabus, so there's some additional information that you will need to know. Other than this, but the Bio Ninja. It's actually really good, even though it is adorable. So if you go into that, they have everything. They have cells, chemical, blood, which is biochemistry, and then when you click on it, it's like a textbook. It's very clear. It's divided into carbohydrate, glucose, disaccharide. It's like very brief information, and it's very basic information that you wouldn't need to know for IB. Only bad thing is that it's from the old syllabus, so the additional thing that I have to teach you. But it has very, very, very good. This is a good resource for reviewing. So homework. So we have assigned. I have assigned homework. I know this is probably a type of homework that you haven't seen yet because it got a lot of data analysis, which is paper 2 kind of question, analytical questions. The multiple choice again is on Firefly under homework. So under homework on Firefly you can find the multiple choice, and it is due next Friday. And if you have a lot of stuff, you can email me to ask for extension, but you have to email me 24 hours before the due date. If on Friday and you're not done with the homework, be ready to stay after school on Friday for detention with me. Then you have plenty of time to do homework then. You guys ever watch the news and see that there are children in Africa and then they have like really big belly because they were malnutritious? So if you don't have enough essential amino acid, what happens is you become malnutritious, the fatigue, and then things, the body become less and less healthy. There are a few people who like try to feed their babies with just coconut milk, and it didn't contain enough essential amino acid, and that could lead to the baby malnutritious and die.
Who does it with coconut milk?
There are people.
Vegans.
Extreme vegan, like in the U.S. there's quite a few of those, and what they don't understand is this simple thing: non-essential amino acid, your cell cannot make it, so you must get it from the diet. So vegetarian people, they have to like really make sure they eat enough beans, and
Don't they take pills?
they have to take pills that contain essential amino acid in order to have enough. Now, moving on to structure of a amino acid, and so you probably want to draw this out. So amino, which means, maybe I draw it on the board. Okay, so amino acid has 2 parts. How do you know that it's an amino acid? Jihye, how do you know that something is an amino acid? It's complex. No, I don't know it. It has a nitrogen. Excellent. So it has a nitrogen. So amino acid, meaning that it has to have an amine group. Amine group is nitrogen. So you could say nitrogen connected to hydrogen, and then the bond to something called essential carbon. How many bonds can carbon has? 4. So you will say 1 bond, 2 bond, 3 bond. Okay, the acid part of it is carboxylic, carboxyl group. So this is an amine group. Sorry about that. This is an amine group, and then the second part is a carboxyl group. Carboxyl group, and that is C double bond O O H. Okay, so amino acid has an amine and a carboxyl. In the middle, you have 2 things. You will connect to a hydrogen, and you will connect to this very, very important part, R. You probably see this all the time, R. So this R is unique to that type of amino acid, and we talked about in a second here. This is probably a flashcard thing. When you draw this amino acid into your flashcard? The structure of it? Alright. Maybe a second. We need a second to draw it on your flashcard.
Wait.
Anybody need more flashcard? Yeah? Let me go grab some flashcard. I'll be right back. So the R, you notice that there's this blue thing? So this is in your OneNote, you can see. The R will represent all these different complex structure. So for each of those R group, it defines what amino acid it is. So let's say if you just have a simple hydrogen at the R position, you have a glycine. It's very simple. If you have something like a benzene ring or a phenyl ring with the OH, you have something called tyrosine. Or even if you have a complex 2 ring, you can have tryptophan, which is what makes you sleepy after you eat a big meal. Tryptophan. So there's so many of these amino acids, but what they have in common is the structure. And so on BioNinja, well, so if you forget what it is, you can probably go on to BioNinja here. Yeah. They have the same structure. You have an amino group, a carboxylic acid group, and there's the R here. That is essential, an alpha carbon. You don't have to know the name of alpha carbon. Just remember amino acid. Alright? So, here's a question. Actually, in nature, there are hundreds of these amino acids, but all organisms on Earth, from the tiny bacteria to you, share the same 20 amino acids, only 20. All of our proteins, there's only 20 type of amino acid, like the list I just showed you. Why do you think that is? Why only 20 out of hundreds? Any guess?
Because we don't need the other.
Miranjin? Any guess? Karina?
Is it like the others? Like these amino acids are like the D, and then the others are like the L.
Oh, okay, that's close. Actually, yeah. Every amino acid that we can use is specifically L amino acid.
Oh, close.
Yeah. Only L amino acid we can use. And we can only use these 20 amino acids, this group right here. And we share with bacteria, we share with plants, we share with earthworms. It's incredible, yes?
What about the others?
The other extra one, you can use them to metabolize and stuff, but you can't use those to make your protein, your meat, your functional protein.
Where do you find the other ones?
The other ones, some creature will produce it, or you can synthesize in the lab, or lightning hit like seawater with nutrient, and then it forms the other ones. But we don't use those at all. Any guess? So you are close. You're selectively using this. Ryan, got some idea? Yes, Senya?
Maybe those 21 are like the only ones which are non-essential, possible.
Well, so in this 20, some of them are essential, some of them are non-essential. And something that is essential to you may not be essential to a bacteria. But we all share these 20 amino acid. Antonio? Depending on the enzyme? Yeah, it depends on the enzyme, yes. Some enzyme, we only have certain enzyme that can deal with certain amino acid. Should I tell you the answer? Yeah?
Genetic code.
Genetic code, close also. Genetic code, we all share the same genetic codes also. We all share ATCG. Why do we have so much in common with bacteria and earthworms? Because we are living things. Yes, something about being alive, something about being a living thing on Earth make you that way. Make you use D-glucose, make you use only 20 amino acids, make you have the same DNA. Origin of life. All life on Earth. So there's many there might be more than one form of life on Earth. But there's only one thing that evolved and flourished. Yes, Senya?
But the origin of life and the evolution doesn't really answer the question. Because it answers the question why we all have the same, but it doesn't answer like why we have those threats.
Random. It's sheer randomness. There's no reason why we would be using D-glucose instead of L-glucose. There's no reason to it. What it is that all life on, what this suggests is that all life on Earth origin from the same ancestor. There's this one group of cells that somehow, thank you, that somehow just prevail. Maybe at the beginning of time, there are cells that use the L-glucose. Maybe at the beginning of time, there are cells that use the amino acid. Maybe at the beginning of times, there are cells that use a bunch of other amino acid to make their protein. But those didn't compete. They randomly die out. And then now we all descended of the same one strand. Yes?
Like, how do we know it's just like random thing? Maybe you just like didn't find it yet. Like,
Maybe we haven't found it. Maybe you can find it out when in the future. It's a research in progress. Yes, Senya? Corina?
What if it's just because we're on Earth? Like, what if, like, creatures from other planets?
Maybe there's something about the Earth condition. We don't know. But what this suggesting is that we have a common origin. All life on Earth have a common origin. Something about being living on Earth that allow us to use this. We don't exactly know. We only know chemistry, biochemistry for the last 50 years. And we just astonished by this. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of the TOK question here.
And
10
maybe
minutes of it. Why are we only use 20?
and maybe one person in the class could find out in 20 years.
Maybe in 20 years, or 30 years, one of you will find out why. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's just random. Or maybe it's not random. Okay, so looking at these 20 amino acid, you don't have to know the structure of this. You really don't. You just have to know that there are 20, and some of them are non-polar, and some of them are polar. Ooh. Going back, what does polar means again?
Charged.
Charged
Partially
or
charged.
oriented. There's some kind of uneven distribution of charge. So polar thing can dissolve in water or can dissolve in oil.
Oil. No.
Non-polar is in what? Non-polar is hydrophobic or hydrophilic? Phobic. Non-polar is hydrophobic and polar is hydrophilic. So some amino acids are hydrophobic, some amino acids are hydrophilic. Some amino acids are non-polar, some amino acids are polar. And some even have electric charge. Electrically charged. They can be acidic and they can be basic. Then comes the question, why do we have polar and non-polar proteins? Huh? Why don't we do this? Come down here, click on the second resource here. And then click play. So if you put that in water, they will automatically start to move around. And look at that. All the hydrophobic, which is green, will be on the outside, and all the hydrophilic, which is green, will be outside. Hydrophobic will start to clump in the middle. And that's how protein fold. Protein fold a little. You can change it to mostly hydrophobic, and they will clump even tighter. You can make it mostly hydrophilic, and all these proteins will start to scatter out because they're all hydrophilic. They don't need to be clumping that much. They like water. And you can say all hydrophilic, and now that they're starting to just scatter out because they love water. They're swimming in water. So here's a little challenge for you. Do a brief explanation on what do you think going to happen to enzyme. So proteins are enzyme. Enzyme is an example of protein. Solubility. What happened to membrane protein? What will the membrane protein look like? And protein stability. And do